Woody, there's obviously a decent amount of pressure for the Steelers this year and the past couple years underneath Mike Tomlin. This year they lost 2 games at home to two-win teams, and they kind of got lucky, obviously, and they found themselves in the playoffs. So there was a lot of pressure, up and down pressure for Mike Tomlin this year, and there still is. This game's very big for the Steelers, but on the opposite side, and your end. What's the pressure like for Sean McDermott? And we just talked about how he's been scheming things up and one of the best in the league this year. But as a head coach, how important is it for him and this franchise of the Buffalo Bills to win this football game?
Yeah, let me first off talk about Coach Tomlin. And, talk about a guy who never played for Coach T, but we had joint practices with the Steelers, spent a lot of time with them. I actually thought I was getting drafted to the Steelers, and he called me after the draft and said, hey, if you wouldn't have got taken at 28 by the Bills, we were going to take you. And I hope I'm not giving away company secrets there, but I've told that story multiple times before. But, man, I just have the utmost respect for him and the way that he's led that organization over the last 17 years. And has it all been perfect? No, but it never is. But the fact that he has never had a losing season is just remarkable. And, the Steelers look, the Steelers sitting at 7-4. They dropped 3 disappointing games, 2 to the Patriots and Cardinals. So you're sitting at 7-7, and you're going to fire your offensive coordinator, or just fired your offensive coordinator. For him to lead that organization to the playoffs is remarkable. Kind of similar to Sean at 6-6 this year, and all the heat of the world was on him, and that article came out trashing him and his character. Well, the team has rallied around him now, and you win 5 in a row and find yourselves as a 2 seed. And so I would have said, heading into the bye, week 13, that there was some pressure on Sean. This is an organization that's playing with a generational talent at quarterback, and, you're sitting there thinking, is Sean the guy that can get us over the hump? And it's been evident over the last 5 weeks that he's still that guy that transformed this organization and created a ton of stability in Buffalo, and will likely be that guy for the foreseeable future.
Eric, last thing for you. Rasul Douglas, Gabriel Davis, neither guy practiced yesterday. Do you expect those guys to play? And if they don't, what are the Bills missing?
Man, I don't want to speculate, but, when you haven't practiced at all this week, I would assume not, especially if it's going to be snowy. And, both those guys had knees in the last game, and you don't want them slipping around out there, potentially aggravating it or causing more damage. Gabe Davis is kind of your do-it-all number 2 receiver. At times, over a 4-game stretch this year, 3 of the games he had no catches in the game, but then offensive coordinator Joe Brady saying he would call him the team MVP, the offensive MVP from the game, because he does all the little things. He's a great blocker. He's kind of your do-it-all guy on the outside. And then Rasul Douglas, they trade for him at the trade deadline, and he has been an absolute ball hawk. Since he came to the Bills, he leads the league in takeaways, and, that's a big miss on the outside. Now, if this is an elements game, is Rasul Douglas the most physical tackler on the outside? Maybe, maybe not. So if it becomes tough to throw the ball in this game, it's probably not a huge loss. But when you consider, a couple of the weapons that the Steelers have on the outside, if you are able to throw the ball at ease in this game, then Rasul Douglas is probably your top cornerback at this point.